guys, this is Jason, just out of Somerville. I'm here with Davis Bowen, our Sunday morning winner from March 1st. We're here to give you guys good coverage of 3 final tables from the first inning to the last inning, all the home runs you play. What's up, Davis?
Hi everyone, I'm Davis Bowen, and I'm here to be giving my viewpoint of what I was doing during the single for the golf process and maybe some potholes where I was on the right side or some mistakes that didn't go on track and my mistakes going to sort of go through what we can do in the during the process.
Get it on. So we'll start out here with about 20, 23, 24, 25 big lines around that area. I think you were third at this point in the final table when you first started. I think
I
you're
didn't go
fourth.
that high, I think I went to like 6.
Okay, so you're about fourth with like 9 million. But you're in a pretty good spot. 9 million doesn't really knock you back there. It's just fun thing if you go fourth or going to go front there. What about the other players? Anybody like you're going to
I really was being very reasonable from the nine where I was playing the ball in the third or fourth row. Did a lot of really weird things, like this weird kind of run, like this weird jack suited, just like fairly short, things like that. Bob was in his also, and did some weird things. I don't know the truth of what they were, but I know that he did some things
so you
that
played kind of just you played Spanish or something like that.
yeah,
But that's how you
yeah. I mean, he was like forced to have a very many times and was inappropriate and things like that.
I thought you mean like lead up, like
Yeah,
you
lead
got
off as a lead off call out.
okay. Yeah, so we did some unconventional things. So it's definitely going to show that he's either really good or really bad. He's just creative. Like he doesn't do much. But it's good to know that he's good. Like he doesn't necessarily always out of it. Perfect. So Lara decided to open here for about 3.5 minutes. I think it's pretty standard open with 8.5 here, especially in the first half. I feel like it's going to be decided. They're not going to start too light here. I think I felt like it open chip shot to the guys in the line. He's going to stop ball shove from thinking that it's only going to be people probably going to go right. That would be my general opinion.
The only relevant thing I can think of is Bob actually decided to open with a chance to maybe go for the blind and then maybe take that off.
Right. So okay, so that's what it is. So
Yeah, I don't know if he was teaching me from that.
yeah. Probably just shut down. Kind of a weird spot. Actually, I think it's a good call by Irene University, even opener. Like, I don't think we have that very well. I think it's kind of very good. But one thing is that was kind of well. How about the answer?
Yeah, it's an interesting answer too. I'm not sure if Irene would leave the lead before like D7 is correct at this point.
Starting the left.
Yeah.
Reshoving? I don't think I'll ever reshoving the boots today. Like, versus not really going to raise it, like, his range is going to be pretty tight no matter what. Like, especially with the bonus on table, his range is probably going to be like 9 plus 8 plus maybe. Like, I don't know, maybe 18 or 20, maybe things like 3 or something, 2 or something. I don't think he's going to be impressed with that, especially not calling it. Really calling it for the level. I think he's a pretty standard size into here. He only has like 2.5 big lines open to us, so should be able to button. I'm shoving things to the button here. I'm shoving almost all my kings. Probably most of my queens too, but when you're that short, you have to shove the button. It's way above your average shoving range. So I think it's pretty obvious that he's that short.
Yeah, here I've obviously worked with the raises, the heavy raises. I've played on NBA tournaments where they put the very tight, very long raises, very tight too, with the heavy. I never wanted to fully raise, but
Did you make it like 2.5 or 2?
yeah, I think I made it just a little bit above the minimum raise, maybe 2.2 or something like
Okay,
that.
I think that's a totally fine range. And for good ground conditions here, I think it's totally fine to do shove. I think people that have about 20 big lines. I think that's the best way to play the hand. I think if you call, you do yourself in some really weird spots post flop. And I think your range button is pretty wide there. Split just shoving size in this case like that. I don't think it's probably the most comfortable way to play it. You could make it like 3 million or whatever, but you're gonna four bet light. You're not gonna four bet light for it. I think shoving and just taking the fold and like that's all you're gonna play is really like 8,000 or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, part of the thing that you taught me about the snowball thing, I'm hardly ever a 3 bet or 4 bet player anymore. Like
Yeah. You don't have to pretty much. It's full fun. You ever do that at all? Like how many
I
times do
did
you do
once.
it?
I 4 bet a guy light once, and he
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
50%,
Yeah.
so
But no, you don't have to be very successful. I mean, people do it and they're successful. Like Chris Morgan did it all the time. He's very successful. But you don't have to. It's not necessarily required. So
yeah, I found that people were doing it maybe the blind range and the small range and played
right.
really well.
You just the range and talking about kind of style, small one person named has the exact same effect as the same body. It's very much a team.
If I remember right, I really like the field, so
Okay. I mean, it's not optimal, but it's not terrible either. I don't really like the shovel by dragon. I think like especially pretty early ranges, you're probably gonna get frustrated. I don't think ace 10 gonna play really well. It's not gonna do well against the stronger for sure. The other thing is you only have 10 big blinds. Like if you shove a dragon here, you're gonna get called a lot. And most likely, I mean, you're gonna get worse hands because maybe you're gonna get some worse hands called, but not substantially worse. I really think that shouldn't be a shove. You can either call sometimes. I'm not too happy about that, but I think calling is okay. Or just fold. It hurts to fold like a suited ace. You're not
I
happy.
think the thing with this is you dragon pretty strong now. He isn't like a restream dragon. He's
No, no,
he's
but
calling like
open shoving.
yeah, open
Yeah, yeah,
shove.
yeah. Well, he's not restraying that. You're saying the value of it. Because I think when I was opening range, like he was just like shove.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I thought you were saying like same value.
No, well, I think that's what he did before. So I'm saying the same. And I guess my worst ace there is probably ace queen. Maybe ace jack suited, but I think ace queen is tight. Quiet though. So if it's tight opener, I don't think you're gonna ever shove pocket reshoving ace queen suited there. Like it's almost certainly a losing play.
I think ace queen suited is one really easy to lose because you have to do that.
Yeah,
You
I
get
mean,
high
then
board.
I would think that most players would like fire a bet on the flop.
Well, at least
If
if you
not
don't
on
have
the
to
turn.
overthink twice.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a winner, I would have bet here for sure at some point in this game. I probably wouldn't have beaten maybe under, like 7-handed, like someone should have bet at some point in this game.
I mean, like technically, I'm not even sitting down. You probably would have beaten for
No,
sure.
it's definitely a mistake that my friend didn't really show. Like, he should have, I really should have done something general. He basically let Brandon have a spot. Like, there's no reason to have not paid this on aggressively. Because, I mean, you have no showing about it's not even deuces.